we're talking about maybe even 100 degrees in some of our inland areas. So we will expect the valleys, the Inland Empire back to the mid 80s. Then we head out the door for the coastline at 74, and then traveling to the mountains about 66. Our high deserts 84, and then our low desert communities just about 91 degrees. All right, humidity, maybe thunderstorms. It is going to be hot and muggy. We're going to talk all about just a few degrees, but the heat, I mean, now we're talking about some major heat coming in for next week. So here's a beautiful sunrise in Clarita. We're around 59 into Palmdale. You might want to take a sweater or jacket with you this morning because we are looking quite a bit cooler than where we have in the last several mornings. So it is dropping for the morning start. We're going to drop a little bit as we saw yesterday for our afternoon high. Not quite as we were yesterday. We're going to add in, I would say about 2 degrees to the temperature. This isn't a really big shift, though. I mean, some areas will stay right about where we were yesterday, like San Bernardino and Riverside County. It's still going to be about 75 degrees for your lunch hour if you're getting the kids ready and off to school. You can have a little bit more in the way of options. Pants would work, shorts would work, short sleeves would work. A nice little light hoodie or sweater would be nice, too, just because the morning start is a little cool. And then as we're getting in the classroom, I know air conditionings are still going, and so maybe just something to keep them comfortable. And then the afternoon, something to layer on and layer off very easily. 80 degrees by 2, 3, 4 o'clock. We're around 83, and we'll bring back that reason why we have such great weather. It's 81 for Los Angeles. There's that area of low pressure that moves off to the east. Behind it, we have this ridge coming in. This is a weak ridge overall. This one is not the big impactful one that's going to really heat us up. The next one that's coming in, the one right behind it, now this one grows in size. I mean, the ridge is way up into Canada, and we get up to about 91 degrees on Tuesday of next week because of the steepening ridge. Then we head into your Wednesday. Now we're talking about 90, and more interesting on Wednesday, we'll bring in some subtropical moisture to the mix. So that adds into the humidity, that adds into the possibility of some showers, that also adds into the possibility of getting in some thunderstorms for our mountains and deserts primarily. However, because it is coming from and off of the Gulf of California, Baja California area, we could see that really spread out anywhere, even along our coastal community. So this could be an interesting day, Wednesday. So giving you a heads up, we're talking about Sunday. Then we're rolling with those 80s. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 90 degrees. So the heat does return, and it does look like it's going to stay pretty warm for Tuesday. Then it's 80 degrees on your Wednesday, and then heading up into the mountains. But we are talking about temperatures sitting right around the 60s for most communities as we're heading out to the coast, all the way into our inland areas. So lots of 60s to start you out this morning. You still might want to take a sweater or jacket with you, just because it is nice and mild and cool. And we're going to stay that way right through your lunch hour before we start to warm up a little bit better for the today. We're also getting into, it looks like those temperatures about 74 and mild along the coastline. If you're traveling out towards our mountains, we're around 67. If you're heading out the door, we do have our temperatures that are going to be really beautiful today. A little bit warmer than yesterday, but overall less cloud coverage. And we are looking at a really pretty sunrise here this morning. 47 degrees right now into Wrightwood. So it is a cool start to the morning there. And the clouds up too. So for this morning's start, we're starting to see a little bit of a change up here. And then by the weekend, we're really going to start to see a change for some added heat. So while we have cool temperatures this morning, you might want to send the kids off with a nice light sweater or jacket if you're getting them ready for school this morning. We're going to stay in the 60s all the way through 10 a.m. and then at noon for your lunchtime, we're around 74 degrees. So again, blacktop, having fun outside for recess. Just keep in mind that it's still nice and mild outside, but you might want to think about maybe short sleeves, pants, and then layer on a nice little hoodie or sweater. And then we're on our way to 80 to 83 degrees at 2, 3, 4 o'clock. Right now, the air conditioning's in the classroom. They're going. So I send Nolan off with a nice little sweater or jacket just because it is actually cool. And now this area of low pressure is really moving and swinging off to the east, bringing with it some rainfall, cool temperatures. And then we just get the benefit of being outside of that circulation. So 81 degrees for Los Angeles. It's almost like Mother Nature's air conditioning moving through our area all the way through Saturday. Saturday, we're going to see 81. Sunday, 83 as a little ridge builds in, and then a much, much larger ridge starts to really take over the entire and western section of the nation, moving all the way up into Canada, so steepening. And now Tuesday, our temperatures are right around 91 degrees. And then let's throw in something else because it has to get a little more interesting for next week. We're talking about maybe some subtropical moisture being pushed into our area, and that could mean thunderstorms, that could mean rainfall. And then also, just keep in mind the added humidity will make it feel a lot more uncomfortable than 90 degrees degrees for Los Angeles. So your body, we need evaporative cooling to get our bodies to come down in temperature. When we have moisture and humidity out there, we don't have that arid, nice cooling effect on our skin. Degrees on Tuesday, and then we're going to bring back that heat. Wednesday and Thursday, the expectation is temperatures across Southern California. However, we're going to add in about 2 to 3 degrees to our Inland Empire temperatures today. A beautiful, and also traveling out towards our mountain communities. Those mountains are getting up to about 67 degrees, and it's going to be a nice one today. I hope you have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend. Local moisture, they'll be also returning to our area. That could also mean thunderstorms for our mountains and deserts. So a lot of changes for next week. We'll get you through it. Just areas in higher elevation, no clouds. Now, if I could show you a little bit better of a shot, you would see that a nice crawling marine layer that is up against the hillsides at the moment. And underneath that overcast sky, this is what it looks like over into Anna, Palmdale, 62 into Ontario, and over into Beaumont, 57 degrees here this morning. The marine layer, it is back, but I'm starting to see a nice little offshore push. That's going to help really get these clouds out of here earlier than yesterday. And then we're on our way to some nice warm temperatures for areas of San Bernardino and Riverside. But this is pretty comfortable. We're around 81 to 83 degrees. Yes, it's warm, but not excessively hot. And if you're trying to at least get the kids ready and off to school this morning, few options. You have pants you can wear, short sleeves. You're looking at a cool start to the morning, 63 to 69. So I think maybe adding in a layer, a hoodie, something to zip off, zip on later on would be great. I think the classrooms are cold. I know that because my son tells me. So maybe just send them off with a light sweater or hoodie too, just to keep them comfortable inside. That's the center of the low. We're getting the benefit of that outer circulation. So it's like Mother Nature's air conditioning rolling through. We're back to 80 degrees for Los Angeles. Then your Saturday comes in. It's 81. There's that little ridge starting to form. So over your Sunday, over the weekend, we slowly build, but then a bigger way up into Canada, drying them out too. And then right as we're getting into your Tuesday, your Wednesday, the heat really comes in. So now we're talking about 91 degrees on Tuesday. On your Wednesday, it's 90 degrees. And let's just throw in something else. We're going to add in humidity. That's going to add into the discomfort. We're not going to cool off very easily. So while the thermometer might say 90 degrees, it'll feel hotter. Your body's not going to cool off easily. We need that evaporative cooling air, dry air to get cooled down. Without it, we're going to still see 90 degrees, yes, on the thermometer. But as compared to Tuesday, 91, it might feel a little bit worse out there on your Wednesday, Monday, and then we start to add in some heat, and then we throw in the humidity and maybe even a chance of some thunder. So if you're heading out to the coast, go to the lifeguard tower. They might be empty, so take a buddy with you.